Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule, presented on the Believe Network and brought to you by FanDuel. Jack Knowlton, Payton Haverman, Kenny Van Doren. Today is Monday, August 4th, and it's wide receiver day. On our position preview for Mizzou football, we're going to talk receivers, have some other Mizzou stuff to discuss in quick hits as well. Fall camp still trundling along. Mizzou, I believe, Kenny, correct me if I'm wrong, first scrimmage on Monday. Coming up for fall camp. So the first week of fall camps in the books have had some fun headlines, including some stuff about the wide receivers. Eli Drinkwitz has also made it clear, still no starting quarterback. I think he addressed the media recently on one of those days and just said that outright. So I like that he's playing along with the competition and that being everyone's main focus. But we're talking receivers, fellas, a very interesting position group for Mizzou heading into next season. Obviously losing some absolute program staples. We just did offensive line in the last show where, of course, they lost a program staple as well in Armand Membu. Receivers, obviously Luther Burden's out the door. Theo Weiss, of course, is out the door as well. Mookie Cooper is out the door as well. So it's going to be a new look room next year. The wide receivers on Mizzou's roster this season are as follows. Here's my, if I can get my 100% clip on names. Kevin Coleman Jr., Marquis Johnson, Josh Manning, James Madison, Xavier Lloyd, Daniel Blood, Sean Terry, Donovan Alubade, Demarion Fulks, Cameron Pitts, Jaden Bolton, Noah Flagscamp, and of course Payton's favorite, Logan Muckey. I don't believe I missed out on anyone.
You
on
missed.
the roster.
I think you
Did
said
I?
flag. You said Noah Flagscamp. I believe it's Noah Flagscamp.
Flagscamp. Sorry.
No.
Sorry. I apologize.
Nope. Wrong.
I'll try to do better next time. An interesting group. In terms of what you guys are most excited for. For me, like this is a more general thing. So I'm curious if you guys have any more specifics. And obviously, I know we have some bold takes, particularly about I think one individual young receiver on this team that we'll get to. But in terms of the things you guys are most excited for this room, for me, it's about just the general. I think I'm just excited for how these Luther Burden and Theo Weiss Jr. voids are going to get filled. I think I kind of feel going into the season, I'm more excited about it than nervous about it in terms of, on the Our Lads depth chart, you've got Coleman, Marquis Johnson, and Josh Manning as kind of the 1, 2, 3 pasted in starters. Those guys last year for numbers wise, Coleman, 932 yards, 6 touchdowns at Mississippi State, of course. Johnson, 25 catches, 352 yards and a touchdown. And then Josh Manning, just 13 catches, 192 yards and 1 touchdown. Cooper, Burden, and Weiss combined for nearly 1,800 yards and 10 touchdowns at Mizzou last year. So it's a lot to fill, but I'm kind of excited to see these three. I know we've heard a lot of good things about Kevin Coleman. I've been a big Marquis Johnson fan since day one. For some reason too, in my brain, it's hard to believe him and Josh Manning are the same age. I don't know why I just don't compute them as in the same class to me, but they're both juniors. This is kind of their year to take over. And both of them have done some things to me that give me confidence that they can do that. Obviously, I think like Membu with the offensive line, you're not going to have wide receivers or Luther Burden just replaced in a vacuum 1-for-1. But I think I'm most excited for is just these three coming in, seeing what they can do. I think it's going to be a productive room, and I have relatively high hopes for it. But what are you boys excited for with the wide receiver room?
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. It really says a lot, I think, about kind of just where this program is recruiting receivers. When you lose your top 3 receivers from last year in Burden, who was really like one of the most important recruits in program history, Theo Weiss, who was such a great, you could argue he was their best receiver last year for a lot of the stretches, and Mookie Cooper, who I think is as good a wide receiver 3 as you could have ever asked for. To lose those 3 and still feel pretty confident about where the room is, I think says a lot about the job that the staff has done in just recruiting the position. I think it says a lot about how Jacob Peeler has coached it. I have sang Jacob Peeler's his praises since he's been hired. He's given me no reason to doubt anything he's done here. I mean, we got to remember like where this room was like when Drinkwitz first got here. I mean, they were having guys like Boo Smith out there getting legitimate.
Okay, no, you can't do that. You can't rag on Boo Smith. He's still trying to make it too. He's still trying to make it.
No disrespect to Boo Smith, but I mean, like, he was not like a guy I think that was recruited out of high school.
I think he was a walk-on. Yeah.
Didn't he play flag football? Wasn't that the story with him? Didn't he like play on the Mizzou flag team and then they let him try out? I thought that was Boo Smith.
Yeah, I think he was one of the guys that was on Stankowski that ended up being.
Yeah, someone would have to double check that, but he wasn't this super heralded guy. And I mean, now Mizzou, I mean, you look at it now, you have guys like Josh Manning, who, much to the chagrin of K-State fans, committed to Mizzou. Everyone thought he was going to dip out after a year. Here he is entering year 3, expected to be a major contributor. He flashed a lot of potential last year. I think he had that long touchdown against UMass. He had a touchdown in the bowl game. Marquis Johnson, who is just one of the fastest players that I think has ever come through Mizzou, has really just been a guy that the past few years has only taken the top off. In the bowl game, I think it's the first real time we saw him like play like actual receiver, and he still was making plays deep down the field. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I expect him to probably be the wide receiver 2. Daniel Blood is a guy who Mizzou has always seemed to be really high on. Kenny knows a lot about the Daniel Blood story. Obviously, he's followed him for a long time. And he was a guy that got in the bowl game and made some plays last year. It really was exciting to see just all the young guys kind of step up and make a lot of plays in that bowl game in Brady Cook's last game last year. And I think Mizzou did a great job of like going out and not settling and just banking on potential only. They went out and got Kevin Coleman Jr., who was a bright spot on a real bad Mississippi State team. He had 74 receptions, 932 yards, and 6 touchdowns last year. I think that's a bona fide SEC wide receiver 1. I think you can definitely count on him being that true X guy out wide for you. And it's a homecoming. I mean, he notably it was in the same recruiting class from St. Louis as Luther Burden. Mizzou, I think, would have liked to have had both, but only wound up with Luther. Now they get Kevin Coleman a few years later. It's an exciting group. I think really I am excited, like you said, Jack, for the depth, but I am also excited to see kind of how Kevin Coleman kind of just steps into, no disrespect to Mississippi State, but clearly the more non-dysfunctional program right now at Missouri, and still getting to be a wide receiver 1. I am excited to see what he can do.
I think the biggest, excitement part about just watching the wide receivers this year is that it's going to be a totally like new look in the sense that, you don't have a Luther Burden. I wouldn't say like Theo Weiss was a superstar. We don't have like this one superstar coming in. And I think one of the big things is that there's a lot of depth to this room. There's a lot of guys that could probably start or, see relatively, pretty good snaps. I wouldn't say in the SEC, but at the Power 4 level, depending on where they were playing. And so I think it's good there. I think everyone in the Missouri fan base trusts Jacob Peeler with their life when it comes to wide receivers. So no matter like who comes in, injury wise, you lose Mookie Cooper, for a large extent of last year. Marquis Johnson dealt with his own injuries as well. So I think, this year there's a lot of guys that you're kind of hoping take that step forward too. Cause this is going to be year 2, probably the first big year for James Madison, who is the only guy who's redshirted in this entire group, which is kind of funny. I think Xavier Lloyd might have when he was at Kansas State. But yeah, just of everyone in the room, he's the only one with the red shirt. So, he has, the extra year of eligibility. Let's see how that kind of plays out just in his second year with the program. But pretty exciting group. I wanted to touch on Daniel Blood. I thought maybe he was a guy that would maybe look somewhere else, just with a lot of talented wide receivers coming in the same class as him, in Josh Manning and Marquis Johnson. So him sticking around, and they seem to go to him for speaking opportunities too after the Jamaica trip. I know he spoke pretty high about it, and everything that Mizzou kind of accomplished with the guys there. The reason he follows me on Twitter is actually kind of funny though, because when I was covering him when I was in college and he was still in high school, I posted. It's also worth noting, Blood went to the same high school as Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson, and my cousin Nick. Destrehan, my cousin Nick, who's been on the show a couple times, he said, but how was his gritty dance? And I said, if his DMs were open, I had to have an answer for you. I could try to see if I still have that DM. I used to go through a phase of deleting DMs when I was done talking to people. Okay, I still have it. The people want to know, how's your gritty? LOL. He said, me and Justin are about what and what. Oh, sorry. Gosh, I'm scrambling here. Yeah, he actually didn't say anything.
Wow, that's gonna
He
be.
didn't reply?
No, he did.
You're just gonna make up an answer?
No, so he said. So I said, the people want to know, as your gritty, LOL. Me and Justin are about what and what? Laughing face. I said, did you ever watch him and his brothers growing up? Yes, sir, a lot. Didn't get to watch Jordan until college though. Just kind of went back and forth a little bit, but he didn't even talk about the gritty.
He didn't talk about his
Didn't
gritty.
acknowledge the
No.
gritty. That's all right. Maybe we'll
Here's
see
the
it.
hard-hitting analysis everyone is tuning in for.
Yeah.
Is Daniel Blood's gritty up to snuff?
Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see it if he gets some extended snaps this season. Yeah, he's someone. It does say a lot, I think, with him and Manning. Marquis Johnson maybe to a lesser extent, because I think he's had a lot of opportunities since coming in, but it says a lot about this coaching staff. I think in their ability, Jacob Peeler's coaching ability to keep these guys and have them bought in for the long term. That's a hard thing to do. And I think that's important with guys like Manning and Daniel Blood. Biggest questions, concerns, if you will. Mine goes back to, and Payton, I think you are right to bring up Kevin Coleman, and I don't want to take his production at Mississippi State for granted, but I feel pretty solid with him transitioning over to Mizzou and his experience. We've heard some good stuff about his leadership. I've been reading as well, and just kind of coming into that room expecting to be the guy and doing that and kind of taking that over and taking that mantle as the wide receiver one. To me, the biggest question or concern in terms of where the level of this wide receiver room comes is with Marquis Johnson, and I'm super glad you brought up that Iowa game. I think it's with his continued evolution into more of a playmaker than just kind of the vertical deep threat that he's been. I think that's still his best trait. I think Mizzou is still going to unleash that as best they can. But I think, in year 3, the more production we see from him on, kind of those underneath routes, the more development we see from him as a route runner and just being able to be a bit more dynamic, I think is going to dictate the ceiling of this wide receiver room for me. And that Iowa game was, like Payton said, a great example of it. 7 catches, 122 yards and a touchdown. I mean, if you're getting that or close to that from Marquis Johnson on a game-to-game basis, and you get what you're getting from Kevin Coleman, I think this receiver room is gonna be in a good spot. But I think that's gonna happen if Marquis Johnson makes the leaps that he makes as a playmaker in kind of other route concepts, other ways besides being that take the top off the defense, which of course he should still do and Mizzou should still utilize because he's great at that. But I think the ceiling of that room lies with him.
Yeah, I think coming into this season, I mean, when you lose, I am pretty confident in this receiver room. I do trust in Josh Manning, Marquis Johnson, Daniel Blood, even some of the guys maybe that look lower on the depth chart from the outside looking in right now. And of course, Kevin Coleman. But when you lose your top 3, there's always going to be, and maybe you could argue your top 4, depending on where Mekhi Miller was at this time last year. Of course, now he's at Tulsa. You still are going to have questions. Can Kevin Coleman come in and still be that bona fide wide receiver 1 that he was at Mississippi State? Who's going to step up and maybe take that really strong wide receiver 2 role? Like who's going to be the true X on the outside that Theo Weiss was? Really, it's just about how there's going to be some growing pains, I'm sure, as Kirby Moore kind of experiments, sees what works, sees what doesn't work. I think my main question, though, is how are they going to fit all of this together? I mean, when you have what is likely to be a very different looking offense than it was last year. Like we've said 100 times before, if it's Bo Prabula out there, I expect it to be a lot more run heavy than it's been in years past. I mean, and so I'm curious who maybe in the receiver room is able to step up in that. I mean, because I mean, at that point, blocking on the outside, blocking as a receiver is going to become a really big factor. Does that really change the decision? I know in the past, Josh Manning, he's been one that's really drawn a lot of praise. I remember his freshman year, he would actually see the field a lot of times, not to catch the ball, but just when they needed a run blocker on the outside. So that changes the calculus a bit. I really do think the biggest question is, where do all of these guys just fit into their different roles? It really is just who is going to play what role on this team.
I think Barrett Bannister used to be pretty good at blocking too. I don't know if you remember that, Payton. I think his name used to come up. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what roles there are. I was wondering too, when you were talking about, a little bit more of a running attack and maybe, the offense expanding and changing just a little bit from last year. How many like end arounds, maybe we would see? Because there are some speedy guys in this wide receiver room. And I know Jack would love to see Marquis Johnson just on a end around or, some kind of, just toss or shovel. So I think that'll be, something worth watching. I just think one player just needs to take a massive step forward, just of those juniors in that wide receiver room. They've been kind of sitting behind Theo Weiss, Mookie Cooper, and Luther Burden the last 2 years. Now it's finally their time to really run with the keys to this offense. So, if that's Marquis Johnson, I think, he has a lot, going for him this year, finally, fully healthy. He was kind of banged up at times last year. I know he had a pretty, tough offseason too, losing his mother. And I think that's a big driver for him being, successful and continuing on to what he's doing for, what she did in his life. So, I think it's going to be a pivotal year for him just on multiple parts of his game on and off the field. And I kind of agree with both of you. I think he could be the one that really, takes charge of this wide receiver room. And one thing that really plays into that is leadership, which was a little bit surprising to me because I didn't really know how much, of a voice he had in the wide receiver room just yet, because it is his first year kind of being an upperclassman. But he learned a lot from Theo Weiss and picked up a lot for just watching him the last couple of years in practice and in games. And that's what Coach Peeler said is like, he's kind of, shadowed him and now he's ready to step up and take his job.
Yeah. And that's another good trickle down effect of having, the players and the personas like Theo Weiss as well, because that kind of leadership can trickle down when those guys are kind of role models. Yeah, I mean, Payton, to go back to your point too, I'll just like touch on it. It's a conundrum. I don't know if it's a question that you can answer, but I think it's, it helps that Mizzou kind of has that option and is going to be a different look. When you're trying to replace players like Burden and Weiss, that like, all right, it might be a little bit more of a run heavy team. You're not going to have these wide receivers maybe putting up as electric of numbers, but yeah, that's a lot of mouths to feed in an offense to make kind of work cohesively. And I wonder, I am going to be really curious how Kirby Moore and Drinkwitz and the staff kind of adjusts to that and figures that out, with assuming Prabula does end up winning the job. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where all of those guys fit in, because there's a lot of playmaking talent on that team. And yeah, I would love some Marquis Johnson. If he gets like an after the catch stuff thing down and just like, I don't know, any of it, I just think I think the world of his potential. So I hope he hits on his breakout year. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting scheme wise to see what kind of changes and how Mizzou fits some of those receivers in. But predictions, should we do some bold predictions? I know you guys have been stewing.
Yeah.
Payton, I'll let you go first. Do you have what's your bold prediction for this wide receiver room next year? There's one name who I think Mizzou fans are going to be yelling that we've gone nearly 20 minutes without mentioning today. I don't know if that's yours.
I was going to say, it's pretty funny. My bold prediction is going to be a guy we haven't brought up once yet. And I'll also throw a couple other like little ones out there. I think Josh Manning will definitely be the bona fide wide receiver too. I think there's too much buzz. The program has put out way too much that they love Josh Manning. I do believe in him. I do think Daniel Blood will kind of be the guy they try out first, kind of in the slot. They won't use him like Luther Burden in the slot, but I think he'll be the guy you see first in the slot. And then obviously Marquis Johnson is going to be the guy that comes in, just really beats a defense deep. And I do think he'll be used as more of a true receiver this year. But my bold prediction is going to have to do with one Donovan Olubade, the true freshman out of IMG. Mizzou was able to hang on to him through a lot. I mean, he committed early, if I'm not mistaken, Kenny, like pretty early on. Had a lot of flip attempts on him. Didn't waver. They got him on campus, and I'll tell you what, the preseason videos, I'm going all in. I know I shouldn't do it, but we heard so much good things about him out of high school. The videos are just ridiculous. I am gonna really, and this is going to be probably the most bold one of these out of the positions I have. I think Donovan Olugbude will beat will beat Luther Burden's freshman receiving yards mark. So Luther Burden, his freshman year had 45 receptions, 375 yards, 6 touchdowns. I don't think Olubade will beat that receptions mark, and the touchdown mark would be hard to get as well because, again, I expect a lot of running the football from this Mizzou team, but I think he clears the 375-yard mark very easily. I think he will. Again, I'm not saying Donovan Olubade is going to be as good as Luther Burden was at Mizzou. He won't. He won't. Believe me. Very few people ever will. But I do think Olubade will be probably the most, I'll say he'll be the most productive freshman receiver that Drinkwitz has had.
Okay. I mean, I was thinking, something Olubade. I think that's a good one, Payton. I'll kind of just pivot to someone else. And I think Xavier Lloyd will have a pretty decent year. It's last year playing college football.
Darn you, Kenny. I had an Xavier Lloyd one.
I know, like, he used to walk on at Kansas State, really bet on himself, put up great numbers at Illinois State. That's not going to transfer, of course, to the SEC. And, he might not even see as big of a role that he had there. But, I mean, I think I expect him to find the end zone. Like, I think the over-under I'd said is maybe 4.5 or 5. I think there is an opportunity for him to just kind of be like this sneaky guy that just picks up big plays, like you kind of saw with, a couple of the wide receivers last couple of years that were more of depth pieces. So I think there's definitely an opportunity for him to just sneak on the field and be around for a big play.
I did my quick hit on the Olubade catch to go back to Payton's briefly. I think you're right. I think Mizzou fans will appreciate that pick, Payton. I've seen some tweets and stuff of people saying they think he's going to be a starter. A lot of people are all in on him, and I think there's nothing to show otherwise so far. I like that pick.
By year's end, I don't think he'll be a true starter, but he'll get starter level, or at least rotational level snaps.
Starter level production, in the yards department. I think you're right. I think that's going to end up being a really big recruiting win for Mizzou. Kenny, I saw like a little bit of a hybrid, maybe Mookie Cooper, Makai Miller kind of role for Xavier Lloyd. I think, I went back to, he played against Iowa. Of course, Mizzou played in the bowl game, played really well in that game. Has some decent tape at Illinois State and a little bit at Kansas State too. I like him. I think that's a little underrated get for Mizzou in terms of, again, just adding depth. He's a guy that can come in, be a veteran. If he gets you a couple catches a game, great. And if he can be that kind of Makai Miller, a little bit lower level of a Mookie Cooper. I mean, both those guys made some huge plays in individual moments for Mizzou at times. So that was going to be mine as well with Xavier Lloyd. I should have made a Prez prediction, done something for our guy James Madison. I'm interested with him. He's an electric player. I hope there's going to be a lot of competition, I think, in this room, especially if it does show that Mizzou is going to run the ball a lot more. These guys are going to be competing for maybe more limited snaps than in other years. But he's someone I hope doesn't get kind of lost in the shuffle there, because I think he's really good too and hasn't had much of a chance. But Yeah, Lubide's really good. The hype is real with him. And so there you go. Bookmark Payton's gonna break Luther Burton's freshman receiving yards record. I like it. I like it. I like it. That's why any final wide receiver room thoughts? No Logan Muckey predictions for you, Payton?
No Logan Muckey predictions here. It's just a very interesting room because you'd have to throw in the factor that I really do anticipate a lot more running the football for Mizzou. But there's also just so many guys that they're like, we've heard so much about Daniel Blood, Marquis Johnson, and Josh Manning, and we even saw a lot more Manning and Johnson last year. It's going to come down to who really out of those younger guys or just the guys that haven't played yet are ready to take that step forward. I think Marquis Johnson and Josh Manning are the two most likely to do that, but maybe James Madison does take a big leap in year 2. You know, maybe you guys are right, and it's Xavier Lloyd that really kind of is more than just an insurance policy. Maybe it's a different freshman receiver. Maybe it's Demarion Folks that finds a role. We really don't know right now.
Outside of on him that he has blazing speed in Canada.
Yeah,
he's fat.
And I know Kenny has said he's like really like a special teams ace potentially. So that could get you on the field faster. But we really just have to wait and see. I think after Kevin Coleman, anything can happen with the wide receiver room on the roster.
Yeah, the fun thing with Demarion Folks is that, I mean, his recruiting really picked up out of nowhere. He officially visited the final game for the final game of the season against Arkansas, flipped his commitment from Pitt very quickly, just in the 2 days after. So I think from that perspective, you know, he just really came on late with Mizzou, but they talk about it like coaches would go and like visit his school and he would tell them like, yeah, he has like SEC level speed. And the coach was like, really, you know, that size, no way kind of thing. And they would put on the tape and he's like, yeah, that's an SEC speedy wide receiver. And so they really like that. His coach, I wish I could like pull up the story and read you guys the quotes because the rival stories that are on the original domain are not, you can't see him right now for maybe like another 2 weeks. But his coach said like he's a better punt returner than Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs went to their high school. Like, so that's how he knows that he coached Stephon Diggs too. He watched him do it.
I remember learning this.
Yeah. So he just said he was better than him. And I don't think we think of Stephon Diggs as a punt returner now, but I guess just in the high school, like when he's going to college, he was very well known for his returning ability and out there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good Demarion Folks note. Yeah. He's someone who I've seen a little bit of buzz. And I think, again, the overall final take for me is just, I think that's an exciting thing. The fact that you know, it doesn't feel thin. It's a room that can sometimes feel really scary when there's no depth behind, even when you do have superstar guys. And I think there is genuine depth on this team here, even if a lot of it is unproven, even at the top. But you know, it's up to those guys to then prove it and be a good room. Where are you guys ranking this among the rooms we've done so far? Quarterback, running back, offensive line, wide receivers in terms of confidence level. We haven't revisited this.
Forgot to do that.
Yeah. I realized that.
So we have 4.
We have 4. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver.
I'll go from most confident to least confident. I'd say of the 4 we've done, running back, wide receiver, offensive line, quarterback.
I think that has to be the order. I think
I flip. I'm you know, it's offensive line and quarterback are really close in my opinion. I think some people could probably lean quarterback, but not knowing exactly who your starter is, maybe throws a wrench in that. So I think that is the best order.
I think that's the order only because like quarterback, not only do you not know who the starter is, but then no matter who it is, doesn't have big production really at like any level. I mean, Prebula kind of, but it's not like you're bringing in like a guy with Kevin Coleman level experience at another school. So I think that's the order for me too. So we'll keep ranking those moving forward with our position groups. We'll do tight end next, which is a lot of but will be a lot of Brett Norfleet talk, which again will be very exciting for yours truly. There's your wide receiver predictions. Should be an interesting year for that room again. Then them and O-line back-to-back episodes where you're just replacing some elite talent. Payton, Luther Burden training camp check-in. I heard he had a really good day after he got yelled at by Ben Johnson. I'm using our wide receiver talk as an excuse to put that on you and ask how he's doing.
Yeah, the last week or so has been better for Luther Burden from the sounds of it. He's made plays, especially one-on-one drills. He's made a few plays in 7-on-7. He's getting up to speed.
There we go. Getting up to speed. All right, that's wide receiver room talk. We will finish the show. On the other side, got some more Mizzou stuff to talk about. We'll do that in quick hits. Okay, quick hits time. Kenny is going to go visit the mole people after this show is over. But first, he's going to do Ken Sports Shorts. Kenny, take it away.
We're going to do Daily Dozen Trivia. Payton wanted to talk about the 2022 wide receivers for Mizzou. He's a big fan of Dominic Lovett. Who else are you a fan of from that team? Glock. Tosky Dove, nicknamed Glock. It was a good era.
Jack Abraham.
Jack Abraham, yeah.
Noted
almost
receiver.
A dentist. But yeah, instead we decided not to listen to Payton, and we're just going to do Daily Dozen Trivia.
Yeah, I tried to make this a Mizzou-themed trivia segment again. That's on me, y'all.
Well, Kenny looked up the stats, and just like he cheats on the Daily Dozen Trivia, then ruined the possibility of a quiz. So,
okay. We'll start it off with the NFL. Top left corner, 2025 Hall of Fame inductee Eric Allen began his career with this NFC East team from 1988 to 1994.
I don't know anything about Eric Allen. I'm not going to lie. Peyton's cheating. Peyton is 1,000.
He's looking it up right now.
Right.
I honestly didn't know this, and I feel bad for not knowing it.
My guess was Eagles. They got a 1 in 4 chance.
Was it the Eagles?
Type it in. Just type it in. Just type in the answer, Kenny. Just type in the answer.
Boom!
Oh, it was.
Good job.
Thank you.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. NBA, Marvin Williams knocked down over 600 three-pointers while playing for this Eastern Conference team from 2014 to 2020.
I believe I know it.
Go for
it. Peyton, Mr. Answer Looker Upper. Is it the Cleveland Cavaliers?
No.
Pretty sure it
is not the Cavs.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm thinking of
I just said no.
MLB after
awkward.
This is awkward. After 47 saves and a 0.61 ERA, this Guardians reliever finished third in 2024 Cy Young voting. I will attach something on there. He is not playing baseball at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know it, Jack?
Yeah, it's Trevor Bauer, isn't it?
It is not Trevor
Emmanuel
Bauer.
Clase. Good job, Jack. Emmanuel Clase.
I was like, no way we had a Trevor Bauer question on
No. Employees of this retailer typically wear a black and white striped shirt, black pants, and athletic shoes that look like a referee's uniform.
Foot Locker.
Foot Locker quiz question.
Celebrity mashup for the YouTube viewers. I think that's Michael Cera.
That is Michael Cera. Yeah.
I don't know who the female is, though. Am I misspelling?
Does he do?
Why don't you just type in Sarah?
Does he do EAL? Is he one of those EAL Sarahs?
Isn't it SEAR?
No, it's definitely C.
It's definitely C. Isn't that how you spell it?
I'm looking it up. This is good podcasting.
Oh, it is C.
Oh, yeah, you got it right. MICHAELCERA.
Must not be Michael Cera then.
Okay.
All right.
We'll skip it. Chain restaurants, animal-style burgers and fries are part of this secret menu for this regional fast food chain.
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out.
Very good.
Oh, I was going to say thoughts on In-N-Out. I feel like gets some divisive opinions.
Not my favorite. Right. I'm not a burger
I don't like
guy,
the fries. I like the burger. Television. The first season of this U.S. version of Love Island debuted on this network in 2019.
Oh,
I don't know. I haven't watched it.
No,
but I've heard a lot about it.
Love Island wasn't straight to Peacock, was it? So it was NBC probably.
Yeah.
NBA TV.
Boom. Incorrect.
Oh, no?
Movies. A spinoff of the Jackass films. Johnny Knoxville starred in this 2013 hidden camera comedy film.
I don't know. I didn't know he made a hidden camera comedy film. Payton looks
I
like
didn't know he made anything other than those movies.
Music. This is a lyric from the song.
Oh,
Am I more
wow.
than you bargained for yet? I've been dying to tell you anything you want to hear are the opening lyrics
All
to
right,
this
come on, Kenny.
2005 Fall Out Boy
Don't
song.
deprive the people. Sing it.
No, I'm not going to sing it.
Give us a, am I more than you
Yeah,
bargained for?
yeah. I thought it was for yeah.
I thought it was for yeah, too. I didn't know it was for
I
What's
don't
the name
know
of
it,
the
so
song?
you guys can just go ahead and get this.
Come on, Payton.
I don't know this song.
This is
What's the song, Jack?
Sugar, we're going down. By Fall Out
Okay.
Boy. Or is it? Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Fun
Okay.
bonus question. Who had the 10th most receiving yards on the 2022 Missouri Tigers?
Chibet Kipiager.
Nope.
Or Kibet
It's
Kipiager.
Shipyard.
Nope.
I don't know.
Oh, the Hornets, dude. I was thinking of Mo Williams.
I
Mo
actually
Williams
knew that before looking it up,
No,
but I
I
wanted to
got-
look it up anyways.
I got Marvin and Mo Williams mixed up. I'm mad about that, actually. There's only one option.
Oh, well, it told us the answer at the
Oh,
top.
wow. I didn't
Oh,
read that
we didn't
either.
even read it.
I didn't read it.
Television, it was CBS, and movies was
CBS?
Bad Grandpa. Oh my gosh, I
Bad
forgot about
Grandpa.
that. Oh, we should have done
wow.
better than that.
This might be one of the worst ones we've done. This was a tough.
You can save it though, Jack, if you correctly guess who had the 10th most receiving yards on the 2022 Missouri Tigers. He had 8 receptions for 39 yards, this player.
BJ Harris.
No, but you're in the right position group. Any final guesses? I'll let you each have one more if you want.
Was he the Buffalo? Who was the transfer from Buffalo?
That was Tyler
That was-
Stevens.
Stevens. It wasn't
Who
him,
was
was
a
it?
tight end. It wasn't a
Oh
tight
no,
end.
BJ Harris was a running back. I'm getting mixed up.
Kenny's looking it up, so Kenny's
Elijah Young. Elijah Young.
Yes,
I
it
did
is
look it up.
Elijah Young.
Elijah Young.
Correct. You're correct.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, this list says it's Nate Pete.
Well, that list is wrong. According to Sports Reference, it is Elijah Young with 39 receiving yards. Oh, I guess he tied Demarion Houston, but he didn't tie Nate Pete. Nate Pete, according to this, had 66 receiving yards, which was 8th. Again, all this according to sportsreference.com.
So this is that was a sham answer.
You know, on Football Reference, or on Sports Reference, he's listed as Krotowski Dove.
Yeah,
I know.
Mr.
Yeah.
Krotowski.
I feel like they always do full names on Sports Reference. They're always very, very formal. All right. That was a really great segment, fellas. Tiger in the Wild. Kenny.
My Tiger in the Wild goes to Luke Bauer, who's entering the workforce. He retired from football. He surprisingly entered the transfer portal. I think a lot of people were expecting him to be done with football. Didn't know if he had another year of eligibility left, but he went into the portal. Probably would have been a fine, punting option going into next year if he was still sticking around. But landed at Michigan this offseason, and then he officially retired. This is coming from Trevor McHugh of the Maize and Blue Review on 3 and Rivals.
Yeah, like Kenny said, I was surprised he was even still playing. And a shame he couldn't win the punting battle there, but hey, maybe Michigan just isn't planning on punting much this year.
Bryce Underwood. A lot of hype.
Yeah.
I mean Luke Bauer.
I'm more of a Mikey Keene, Jake Garcia fan in that
yes.
TV battle, but
of course. Jake Garcia, another former Tiger. Luke Bauer, some epic moments at Mizzou. Payton, your Tiger.
My Tiger in the Wild is going to be one of my favorite players, Connor Tollison, Mizzou's long-tenured center. He was named to the Werfel Trophy watch list entering the season. I don't know the exact number that is on this watch list entering the year, but it honors college football's most impactful leaders in community service. So good for Connor Tollison. Of course, Mizzou has a lot of players who have a really good track record in community service. So,
yeah, good for Connor Tollison. I feel like he's been nominated and won a couple of these.
There's a lot of people. I think a team nominates one player every single year.
Okay.
Because I'm on the 5th page. Oh, 6th. It goes to 6. There's 6 pages worth of nominees.
Wow.
On
How
the
many a
website.
page?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Forget it.
8,
Let's
Is there any-
9,
is there any
10,
double
11,
Tollison is a
12,
good person.
13,
Is basically
14,
what this is.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
So that would probably mean
Yeah.
every single team has a nominee.
Yeah, just nominates one.
Yeah, I don't see any doubles. I just
yeah,
see
so
one.
It's probably like the Walter Payton Man of the Year. You nominate a player from the team. So there you go. Connor Tollison, Mizzou's nominee. And then my Tiger in the Wild. We love nothing we love more on this show than preseason award watch lists. And we have another one. Blake Craig, Mizzou's kicker, was named to the watch list for the Lou Groza Award. Had a good first season last year. I think better than many maybe expected. 24 for 34 on field goals. He did miss an extra point, 36 of 37. He was only 1 for 7 from 40 to 49 yards, but he was good from 50 plus. So hopefully he improves that accuracy in year 2. But nominated for the Luke Groza, Blake Craig.
Yes, certainly has a huge leg. The 1 for
Craig
9
the leg.
thing. Yeah, or that distance from 40 to 49 being that ineffective from there, but being so effective like from 50 plus, it almost feels fluky. So I feel pretty decent about Blake Craig. He didn't wind up. He had rough moments throughout last season, but none of them wound up costing Mizzou a game. So
he admitted to, like, a lot of the off-season preparation is like mentally preparing himself for those opportunities better. And when he's in practice or just, kind of going through the motions, is putting himself in those different circumstances that he might have, later in the season, depending on weather, team, environment, goal of making that field goal. So I think he's probably on the right track to kind of improve those numbers.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for Blake Craig in year 2. So yeah, landing on the Lou Groza Award nomination for Mizzou's kicker. We'll see how he does. Headlines. Kenny, what's your headline this week?
My headline this week is kind of a tough one, but Red Sox righty Houck to undergo Tommy John surgery. The former Mizzou pitcher been battling some injuries, some arm injuries the last couple of years, and especially this season is going to have he's going to undergo Tommy John, which likely sidelines him for the entire 2025 season. And this just comes from Craig Ford.
Definitely the rest of 2025.
Or sorry, sidelines him for 2026. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, Tanner Houck is so electric when he's healthy. I mean, one of the nastiest sliders I think you'll ever see. So here's hoping he can bounce back pretty strong.
Yeah. Always a bummer when any players to go through that, but hopefully he can have a speedy recovery, and if it is all the way until 2027, bounce back better at that point. Payton, your headline.
My headline is not a true headline. I kind of took a page out of Kenny Van Doren's playbook.
Breaking sold out. Breaking news.
A post on X here. Yeah, breaking sold out news inbox. But the caption for Mizzou football in this X post is another one, 3 check mark emojis, hashtag MIZ, hashtag STP, because we missed this a couple days ago. Mizzou sold out its, I believe, 3rd game of the season. They sold out the ULL game, the Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns. So I believe that is now Alabama, Kansas, and Louisiana as the sellouts now. I could be missing one there, but I think I know those 3 for sure are. So trying to keep that sellout streak alive. I mean, they have to get Central Arkansas sold out, but I mean, Murray State kind of went down to the wire last year too, and they wound up getting it. So,
well, and again, like those comments on the post for the ULL game say, we can thank Kansas State fans.
Yep,
for
Kansas State has just really helped Mizzou so tremendously. Gosh, what a program over there in Manhattan.
Yeah, so loyal, just packing out the seats. Yeah, hopefully Mizzou can keep the sellout streak going. My headline for this week reads as follows from On3. It's an On3 kind of aggregating ESPN article, but it comes from Alex Byington on On3. ESPN names 12 top non-conference games of 2025 college football season. So much discourse around some of these disappearing with the expanding conferences. But I went through this. I had some fun, guys. I ranked these. I ranked all 12 of them and put them in tiers. Would you like to hear the rankings? You can debate with me if I should have a game higher. Kenny's shaking his head. No,
I think we're good. We can just end the show. Are you ready,
okay.
Payton? Want to do your joke?
Yeah, sure. I can go ahead and do the joke. No, I'm kidding.
I'm reading my rankings. Okay, I divided them in a couple tiers. My first tier, I did the elite ball tier. Texas at Ohio State and LSU at Clemson seemed like two kind of playoff contenders. Those were my top two. Ohio State currently 2.5-point favorites. Clemson 3.5-point favorites over on FanDuel. Okay, I have the rivalry tier, and this is where it can get interesting. Also, by the way, as you can see on the YouTube, I put this in here because Kansas at Missouri is in this. I put them in my rivalry tier. Missouri currently 6.5-point favorites for that game. And just, 4 Saturdays from now, which is just unbelievable that's coming up so fast. I didn't have it as my favorite rivalry game objectively. Obviously, like subjectively, of course, I'm very excited for that game above all others. But Clemson at South Carolina, I think is going to be a really interesting game with the Sellers Klubnik. You know, if he can get in a real Heisman race. Klubnik is plus 900 right now. Sellers plus 1,800. But that game was fun last year. South Carolina had that comeback. That was my favorite rivalry game. I then put Florida at Miami and USC and Notre Dame in that as well. Notre Dame's 10.5-point favorites right now. I think Lincoln Riley hot seat maybe could be talking by the end of the year.
I wouldn't say that so.
Yeah,
I think he is killing recruiting right now in the 2026 and 2027 classes. They're doing a lot to try to change the culture moving forward and get USC back on track. I think this is a season that's pivotal. I think he has to win, a good amount of games, especially with not having the best quarterbacks, quarterback play since Peyton's boy left. But I think he's going to be fine. I don't think the seat's hot.
Okay.
Right now.
All right. He's got another season.
Sorry, I was blanking. Caleb Williams.
I was going to say, did you remember it was Peyton's boy?
Yeah, it just says Peyton's boy.
Peyton's special quarterback. I put a fun games tier, Notre Dame, Miami. That should be a good one in Miami.
That's a little bit of a rivalry.
I guess I didn't put it up there with Notre Dame, USC. It didn't quite fall in that tier. I didn't realize they hadn't played since 2016. Notre Dame 2.5-point favorites right now. Michigan and Oklahoma, I put that one in there. I didn't quite reach the elite ball tier for me. Those teams both have question marks, I think. Oklahoma's 2.5-point favorites. And then the Texas A&M Notre Dame part 2 of that series is at Notre Dame this year. They're 7.5-point favorites over A&M. And then I have the don't care tier. Alabama at Florida State. This is the biggest line on FanDuel. Alabama's 13.5-point favorites to win that game right now. I think that's understandable. That's the Tommy Castellanos. They don't have Nick Saban to save them anymore.
Yeah, I just want to see how Castellanos looks in that game.
Yeah.
That's all I really care about.
Utah, UCLA. Utes are minus 6.5. That's fun. It's like an old Pac-12 after dark rivalry kind of, but I don't really care about that game. That's the only interesting element is that it was a Pac-12 game.
That doesn't do really anything.
And then my complete total bottom of the barrel game, Auburn at Baylor. Baylor minus 1.5. The selling point from the article was just that it's two coaches whose seats are I think it said no two coaches want to play more than Hugh Freeze and Dave Aranda. I was just like,
Baylor's been getting a lot of buzz. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I saw Baylor getting projected to win the Big 12. I've seen people.
Yeah, they were good last year. In a year Aranda desperately needed a good year. They went out and got it. Sawyer Robertson is electric. It wouldn't shock me if that team went out and really threw elbows for the Big 12 title.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. Maybe it's Auburn's the kind of stink of Auburn last year too.
Auburn, every year we have done this under Hugh Freeze with them. I mean, this year they don't have Payton Thorne at QB.
Right.
So I'll give them a little more of a chance. Even though I don't think the world of Jackson Arnold either. I mean, I do think he's better than Payton Thorne. So
Cam Coleman's a freak.
Coleman's really a beast. I do like their receivers a lot. Perry Thompson's fun.
But yeah, Bama, Florida State, Utah, UCLA, Auburn, Baylor don't really do it for me compared to those other games. But yeah, there you go. There's some fun ones on the slate. Some good rivalries, good non-con games. All right, that's all I had. Now, Peyton, you may do your joke.
Oh yes, this one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys, why did the drum go to bed?
It was beat.
It was beat. Yes.
Good job,
correct, Jack. Well done.
Don't listen to what they say about you, Jack. You're good at this. You are good at getting the joke.
They
I don't
believe
care
in
what they
us.
say.
Thanks.
I agree.
Kenny. That's so nice of you guys.
The noise, block out the noise. They don't know what they're talking about. All of them.
All of them, including you two.
A lot of those people. All of them.
The one right here.
You're pointing at Jack.
You're pointing at me, man.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pointing at Peyton on mine. That's weird.
I think Jack's very good.
Are you serious?
Our esteemed
I'm
audience
pointing. Who are you pointing at right now?
I'm pointing at Peyton and you right now.
Oh, it says you're pointing
Jack,
off
I'm
screen.
kidding.
On
No
mine.
one in our audience thinks you're bad at this.
Yeah, well, no, they might not, but you guys do. Our audience is great. Kenny, you might not have I think I unchecked the mirrored camera thing. You might have it still mirrored, which is why you're pointing at me instead of Peyton. But guess what? I edit the clips, so now you're going to look silly. All right, that'll do it for the show. We'll be back tight ends on Friday. We'll keep it rolling with the position previews and any other off-season or fall camp stuff that trickles in for these future position groups. We'll obviously make sure to mention as we get to them. I'm excited for some defense takes too as well. I don't know if tight ends will be that contentious, but I think there's going to be some interesting defense things. All right, I'm going to sign off. That'll do it for the Unwritten Rule. Thank you, FanDuel. We will see you next time.